Why is it said that Daemon Targaryen never truly wanted the Iron Throne? In House of the Dragon, Daemon Targaryen appears throughout his life as someone challenging the power structure, and many people see him as a potential usurper of the throne. But if you look closely at his actions, a key pattern emerges. He is not constantly chasing the crown, but instead trying to prove that he deserves recognition. He did have many opportunities to directly seize the throne, but he never chose to fully overthrow King Viserys I. Instead, his behavior is more about testing limits, provoking conflict, and showing extreme displays of force. At his core, what he truly wants is not absolute rule, but acknowledgement from his brother and a clear sense of place within the family. This becomes especially clear after Viserys names Rhaenyra as heir. That decision affects Daemon far more deeply than simply losing the throne ever could. Because of this, many of his impulsive actions, war choices, and risky decisions are better understood as repeated attempts to prove one thing: that he is not the one who was discarded. Why are Rhaenyra's children described as looking dragon-like? Rhaenyra went into labor while she was in a severe emotional and mental breakdown. When she heard the news that Aegon II had been crowned, she completely lost control, which ultimately led to a premature birth. The labor itself was extremely long, painful, and traumatic. During the process, she was constantly cursing her family and even the unborn child. In the end, the baby was born as a stillborn girl with obvious deformities. Some accounts describe features like scales and a short tail, which is why readers often associate the child with a dragon. But there are two main explanations for this. First, the Targaryen family has a long history of close kin marriage, which leads to accumulated genetic defects and a higher chance of birth abnormalities. Second, George R.R. Martin often uses symbolic imagery in his writing. He uses dragon symbolism to represent how extreme and broken the Targaryen bloodline can become, not to suggest literal biological hybrids. Why does everyone like the rogue prince, Daemon Targaryen? In the world of Westeros, Daemon Targaryen is never a traditional hero. He is cold, impulsive, and often brutally ruthless. But that's exactly what makes him feel real. He never hides behind politics or rules. Once he decides on something, he acts directly, no matter if it leads to war or exile. He doesn't rely on schemes or excuses. He lets results speak for him. He is also the kind of man who rides Caraxes straight into battle. He rarely backs down from danger. And that, even when it's hopeless, he still goes forward attitude gives him strong impact in the story. What makes him even more compelling is how simple his emotional logic is. His loyalty to House Targaryen is direct, and his protection of family is extreme. That kind of purity, even if dangerous, makes him easier to understand. So Daemon's charm doesn't come from being a good man. It comes from the fact that he never pretends to be one. Why is Cregan Stark considered one of the most fearsome lords of the North? In the era of House of the Dragon, many people believed that the strongest warriors relied on dragons. But Cregan Stark proved that even without a dragon, a man could still become a legend. What truly made him famous was his duel with Prince Aemon Targaryen. Aemon was not only a member of the royal family, but also considered one of the greatest knights in Westeros. Yet after fighting Cregan, Aemon admitted that he had never faced a swordsman like him before. Those words carried enormous weight, because earning the respect of a legendary knight proved that Cregan's skill went far beyond the North. He had become a warrior feared throughout all of Westeros. And his strength did not come from a dragon. It came from his own power, discipline, and mastery of the sword. He wielded ice, the Valyrian steel greatsword of House Stark. The blade was nearly 6 feet long and far heavier than a normal sword. Most people would struggle just to lift it, but Cregan could use it effectively in battle. His strength proved one thing. Even in an age ruled by dragons, the North could still produce legends that made the entire realm tremble. Why didn't Silverwing kill Ulf after he destroyed the dragon egg? In House of the Dragon, there is a detail that many people overlook. Dragons do not simply attack every human they see. They actually have their own judgment. Silverwing, as one of the oldest dragons, places great importance on her own bloodline. Normally, anyone who damages a dragon egg would be seen as an enemy. But Ulf became an exception. The reason may not be that he was lucky, but because of the rules behind choosing a dragon rider. House Targaryen has always believed the dragons and riders share a special connection. This connection does not come entirely from status, but from blood. Although Ulf was just a common man, his silver hair and appearance suggest that he may carry Valyrian ancestry. More importantly, Silverwing may not have sensed a threat from him, but instead felt a familiar presence. That is why she did not see Ulf as an intruder, but as someone who could potentially become a dragon rider. This also explains a hidden idea in the world of House of the Dragon. Humans do not truly tame dragons. The strongest dragons are the ones who choose their riders. Why did Drogon grow much faster than other dragons? In Game of Thrones, the most unique thing about Drogon is not his black appearance. It is his incredible growth speed. During the time of House of the Dragon, many dragons needed decades to reach massive sizes. But Drogon grew to a size larger than some adult dragons within only a few years. There are several possible reasons behind this. First, Drogon was never restricted like many Targaryen dragons. Although Daenerys could not fully control him, she allowed him to fly freely and hunt on his own. This made Drogon more like a wild dragon, allowing him to constantly find food and grow in a natural environment. Second, Drogon's birth itself was unusual. His dragon egg had been dormant for many years, but was brought back to life through blood magic. This extraordinary rebirth may have given him stronger vitality. More importantly, dragons do not appear to have a fixed size limit. As long as they live long enough and have a suitable environment, they can continue growing. So if Drogon had survived longer, given enough time, he might have eventually grown larger than Vhagar. Why did Hugh Hammer's look at Daemon make Rhaenyra worried? Many people may have missed this detail. When the new dragon riders were being honored, Daemon welcomed them into the family. But the reactions of Hugh and Ulf already revealed something was wrong. Ulf wanted more than just a title. After claiming Silverwing, he finally felt like he had a chance to change his fate. What he truly wanted was the Targaryen name and a real place among the nobility. But what Rhaenyra gave him was only a reward in name. That made Ulf feel that he was never truly accepted. Hugh Hammer was an even bigger problem. After claiming Vermithor, he gained the power to change everything. The dragon once belonged to King Jaehaerys and was one of the greatest dragons in Targaryen history. But Hugh quickly realized something. Having a dragon did not make him a member of the royal family, so his goal changed. He was no longer seeking honor, he wanted power. And this was Rhaenyra's mistake. She gave ordinary people dragons, but forgot that dragons could also create ambition. Ulf wanted recognition. Hugh wanted a higher position. They were no longer common soldiers. They were people who possessed the power of dragons. Why do Caraxes and the cannibal have completely different roars? In House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 4, when Caraxes and the cannibal meet for the first time, their voices sound completely different. The cannibal's roar is deep and rough, almost like a wild beast. But Caraxes sounds much sharper, almost like the cry of a sea creature. The reason actually comes from their body structures. The cannibal has lived in the wild for most of his life. His heavier body, larger chest, and stronger throat structure allow him to produce a deeper roar, filled with a sense of raw power. Caraxes is completely different. He has a long, snake-like body, a stretched neck, and a unique head structure, which allows him to create higher-pitched sounds. This difference also reflects the completely different ways they grew up. The cannibal survived through instinct in the wild. Caraxes, however, followed Daemon through wars and became a dragon shaped by battle. So when these two dragons meet for the first time, what they show is not the same kind of threat. They represent two completely different forms of wildness. Why did Alicent tell Rhaenyra that Orland Hightower is afraid of smells? Many people think this was just Alicent revealing a small personal habit of Ormond. But this detail may have hidden a much deeper message, because Alicent understands the Hightower family better than anyone else. Ormond's greatest strength is not his army, it is his calmness, discipline, and absolute control over order. After becoming the leader of House Hightower, he gained wealth, soldiers, and the support of the Greens. On the surface, he seems to have almost no weaknesses. But Alicent knows that the thing Ormond cares about the most may also become his limitation. Ormond cannot tolerate chaos and filth. When he faces a messenger covered in mud in the show, his first reaction is not to hear the message, but to smell the spices first. This small detail shows that he is someone who needs to control everything, but struggles with the disorder that comes with war. So what Alicent told Rhaenyra was not simply that Ormond hates bad smells. She was warning her. This seemingly perfect leader also has his own weakness. Why was Syrax able to lay so many dragon eggs? Among the Targaryen dragons, very few were able to continuously produce dragon eggs, and Rhaenyra's Syrax was one of the most unique dragons. The first reason may be that she had a rare ability to reproduce. Many dragons lived their entire lives without leaving any confirmed offspring, but Syrax laid dragon eggs multiple times, which suggests she may have been naturally better suited for breeding. The second reason was that she was not constantly involved in brutal wars. Before the Dance of the Dragons, many dragons were sent into battle, but Syrax spent most of her time in the dragon pit and on Dragonstone, rarely experiencing deadly fights. This allowed her to maintain a more stable physical condition. The third reason was that she was born during a time when Targaryen dragons were still thriving. At that time, Dragonstone was still an important place for dragon breeding, and dragon blood had not yet begun to decline completely. But when the Dance of the Dragons began, the Targaryens lost more than just their dragons. They also lost the chance to continue the dragon bloodline. Why didn't Drogon kill Jon Snow? Many people think it was simply because Jon had Targaryen blood, but the real reason may be much more complicated than bloodline. Drogon stayed with Daenerys throughout her entire journey. He watched her go from an exiled girl to a queen who freed slaves. She once believed she could create a new world without oppression. But as she gained more power, Daenerys slowly began to change. To take back the Iron Throne, she continued expanding the war. To force her enemies to surrender, she began ruling through fear. In the end, the queen who once protected the weak chose to destroy King's Landing with fire. Drogon witnessed how power slowly changed Daenerys. So when Daenerys fell, Drogon did not just see the person who killed her, he saw the thing that led Daenerys toward her downfall, the Iron Throne. That is why Drogon did not attack Jon. Instead, he turned his anger toward the Iron Throne and destroyed it. Because he understood that Jon was only the final result. The thing that truly changed Daenerys and led her to her destruction was the power she had always wanted. Why were the 3 wild dragons on Dragonstone so difficult to ride? During the Dance of the Dragons, 3 famous wild dragons lived on Dragonstone: Sheepstealer, Grey Ghost, and the most dangerous one, Cannibal. The biggest difference between them was not their size or strength, it was that they had never been raised by House Targaryen. Targaryen dragons were usually exposed to humans from a young age. Through years of interaction, they built trust with their riders. But wild dragons were different. From the moment they were born, they survived in the wilderness by instinct. Sheepstealer was the best example. Although he eventually accepted a rider, the process was not about being tamed. It was about slowly building a bond through long-term contact. Grey Ghost was even more extreme. He was not known for attacking humans. Instead, he simply refused to form any connection with them. He lived near the sea and actively avoided anything that came close to him. The third was Cannibal. He was the most dangerous of the 3 wild dragons. He had never accepted a rider, and he was even known to treat other dragons as prey. Dragon eggs, young dragons, and even the bodies of dead dragons could become his food. Why was Orland Hightower able to break down the Gold Cloaks in King's Landing? Many people think Ormond weakened the Gold Cloaks by assassinating their members, but his real weapon was making the army start doubting itself. The Gold Cloaks were originally a force created by Daemon Targaryen himself. Back then, the City Watch of King's Landing had poor equipment and low status. But after Daemon became their commander, he improved their armor, treatment, and gave them a sense of honor and belonging. That is why the Gold Cloaks were not truly loyal to the crown. They were loyal to Daemon, the person who changed their lives. But after Rhaenyra took back King's Landing, the Gold Cloaks were no longer the same force they once were. They had been neglected for a long time, and resentment had already started growing inside the group. Ormond saw this weakness. He did not try to fight thousands of Gold Cloaks directly. Instead, he used assassinations, fear, and provocation to make them question their own loyalty. After several Gold Cloaks were killed, combined with rumors like the Feast of the Betrayers, everyone began to suspect that enemies had already infiltrated their own ranks. And that was Ormond's real plan. Why did Hugh Hammer betray Rhaenyra? During the Dance of the Dragons, Hugh was originally only the son of a blacksmith, but because of his possible dragon blood, he successfully claimed the legendary dragon Vermithor. This dragon once belonged to King Jaehaerys, and it turned Hugh from an ordinary commoner into a dragon rider with immense power. At first, he rode Vermithor into battle for Rhaenyra. The Blacks believed that having such a powerful dragon on their side could change the course of the war. But as his status grew, Hugh's ambitions began to change. He was no longer satisfied with being just a servant of the queen. He began to believe that someone who possessed the power of a dragon deserved a higher position and greater authority. He felt that Rhaenyra only wanted his dragon, but never truly gave him the respect or reward he deserved. So during the First Battle of Tumbleton, Hugh Hammer and Ulf White turned to the Greens, betraying the queen who had trusted them. Riding Vermithor, Hugh became one of the greatest threats to the Blacks. He even began to imagine that he could one day sit on the Iron Throne himself. But those who betray for power will never truly be trusted by either side. Did Vhagar really leave Aemond? After Harrenhal, Aemond woke up and discovered that Vhagar was gone. But the show never explained where Vhagar actually went. The first theory is that the bond between Aemond and Vhagar was becoming weaker, because during his time at Harrenhal, Aemond was not only seriously injured, but his mental state also became more unstable, and the appearance of Alice Rivers further affected his mind. Vhagar leaving may represent that what she sensed was no longer the same rider she once knew. But there is another possibility. Vhagar did not abandon Aemond. She may have simply continued carrying out the war goal that Aemond left behind. After becoming Prince Regent, Aemond once rode Vhagar to attack the Riverlands. Wherever the dragon went, castles, villages, and farmland were burned. His goal was to use fear to force the Riverlords to submit, and the destruction that appeared in the Riverlands afterward could mean that Vhagar was still carrying out this plan. Her leaving Aemond's side does not necessarily mean betrayal. She only left her rider's side. She did not leave his war behind.